Get my 6. Oh, there he goes. He's a flicker. Isn't he beautiful? Look at that. Listen. That's how he tries to get away. That's how he does get away from birds. Flicks his head. That's not his real eyes. That's to scare predators. But I'm sure you knew that, right? Stay weird. Something very weird happened this morning. So weird, I'm going to tell you about it as I walk around and notice the Spirit of God that is in everything. Had confirmation of that this morning, and it didn't come from a book, and if that's where you go to get your word, great. I'm not judging you. And whether that book's the Bible or the Torah or the Quran, no judgment here, okay? So I was sitting on the porch this morning, and it was early. I was on my second cup of coffee. I have a routine I do. I have a ritual. I always have the first cup without any sort of technology. I don't get my phone. I don't get my laptop. If it's light enough to see, as it is this time of year, so I get up early. I get up around 5:25 actually. I naturally wake up at 5:25. It wasn't quite that early. It was a little bit after that. My first cup of coffee, I just used to like wake up. And then once I start to come to, I start, meditate, pray, have my thoughts about my day, all these things. And then I'll get another cup of coffee that I never finish completely. I might drink half of that cup, but that's when I'll boot up the laptop, go through, do what I call a troll purge, continue my prayers, because this is when I pray for other people. Because if you've watched this channel for any amount of time, you know that when people leave comments about how stupid I am, I don't care. I have very thick skin. I was in the army. I fought in wars, and I've had people trying to kill me for extended periods of time. So I'm not like Jay and Silent Bob. You can talk all the crap about me on the internet you want. I'm not going to come find you, like in that movie Jay and Silent Bob. But I get rid of those people because it ruins the experience for a lot of the folks who are wonderful people who don't go on the internet and act that way. They just don't, some people that watch these videos, maybe you're one of them, actually like me, and they just don't like seeing that. So I pray for those people, because I know that if you go on the internet and you just, you see somebody you don't even know and you hate them enough to insult them, you're miserable. And so I pray. I have a prayer. I say, God, please bring this person, Grassblade 857, for example, is usually their names. They have really weird names. I don't know who would name their kids this stuff, but obviously somebody else. Big Blurb 96 or something said I had a big nose or something, whatever. You got to be miserable. You got to be miserable to go on the internet and just randomly insult a complete stranger. So I say, God, please bring this person the same health, wealth, and prosperity that you have so blessed me and my family with. And I really mean it, because I'm convinced if you're satisfied with life and if you're grateful, you just can't have that bitterness, that meanness in your heart. And so and then after I say that prayer, I summarily ban them. Go say it somewhere else, okay? So anyway, I was at that point this morning. There is a reason for this story. I was at that point. I go through, I call it a troll purge, and getting rid of those people. And so I just naturally thought of my day. I have to get the kid up, get the wife up. But I had to make a video. And I've got to make this one very quick, because I just got the thing on my screen that said I'm less than 10% battery life. Oh no, I can't turn a 2-minute story into a 28-minute saga. I'm going to have to wrap this one up in about 15 minutes, I guess, but it's enough time to tell it. So I'm sitting there outside on the porch, because as you can see, it's beautiful. I mean, it's cloudy, but it's still beautiful. It's warm. And I'm thinking about, well, what am I going to what video am I going to make today? You know how hard it is to make a video every day on YouTube? I've been doing it for years, and all the stories are different. How do I don't know, bruh. Must not be too stupid. But my nose is a bit sizable, I guess. And this hummingbird, I'm sitting on the porch. I had my laptop on my lap. I guess that's where it goes. And so the screen was up. And this hummingbird landed on an old grapevine. We let it grow up last year, go up the porch rails, and it started overtaking the house. And I know that it will rip off the gutters and everything else. So this year I snipped it at the base. I hated to do it because it's beautiful. The house is 120 years old almost. 100 it's built in 1903. It's almost 120 years old. 119, I guess. And it looked rustic, gave it that rustic look. You know, it's on the historical registry and stuff. But I didn't want it tearing down the gutter, so I clipped it. But I left the vine there. It's dry. This hummingbird lands on this vine. And so I get this thought in my head. I'm like, well, maybe I could tell a story about how this hummingbird landed on my laptop and I took it as a message from God. And then I just stopped thinking right there because, number one, it's a lie. It wasn't true. And then I thought, hummingbird's not going to land on that laptop. That it would be like a foot from my face, right? Hummingbird's not going to get that close to me. So I looked away and I start thinking, what would I say anyway? A story like that, message from God. What, you know? And so I hear, you know how hummingbirds, they're very loud when they fly because their wings go so fast. I think it was 120 flutters per second. It's a crazy number. I need to Google that. So anyway, I heard it, and this was all done by instinct. I never registered the thought, oh, that hummingbird's coming to me. I better. It's just, you know, when you hear something coming, you look that way, right? Instinct. So I turn my head. I'm getting like shivers thinking about it. This hummingbird was literally right here. It didn't land on my laptop, which I didn't think it would get that close because it's a foot away. It got literally like, I don't know, 4 inches away from my face. Now, I'm a guy. Guys aren't as good at math as girls. Guys think this is 8 inches. Girls know it's 4. I think it's 4. And it was staring me in the eyes. And the thought that came into my head was, is this God, and are you trying to tell me something? I thought that. And it didn't move. That hummingbird hovered 4 inches away. You know, if you're a girl, you know, it's 4 inches. Guys, oh, that's 8 inches. No, it's not, guys. It's 4. Okay? It was 4 inches away. And it was if I heard this voice say, I am in all things. And then that bird flew back to the vine, looked back at me real quick, and then flew away. It just went away. So I told my wife about it. Later, after I got, you know, them up, got the kid off to school and all that stuff. I went in, I said, honey, I got to tell you something really weird. And she's like, and she's on her phone scrolling. I said, I think God talked to me. And she starts laughing. She's laughing and she's scrolling. So I'm a funny guy. I mean, some people think that. I don't think so. I don't try to be funny. It just happens sometimes. But I know the difference between 4 inches and 8 inches. See, I tried. That wasn't funny, but it was probably funny the first time before I used it 3 times. So she goes, what happens, honey? And she's scrolling through her phone. And I said, I'm not going to tell you unless you put your phone down. Put your phone down, face down. And that's when she realized I was serious. So I told her about it. I told her what I just told you about the bird. And she's like, wow. And I'm like, I know, right? So I went. The kid had already gotten on the bus. He was on his way to school. I went back outside. My laptop was still out there. And there's something I'll do if I'm going to be away from my laptop for a while, but I'm going to come back like to write or do some kind of work. I'll go to YouTube and I'll just play some random 10-hour long video that just has like relaxing, calming music. A lot of you watching probably do it too. You can find them. They're all over YouTube. So since I play those videos all the time, when I pull up YouTube, there's always all these recommended videos. It's probably how a lot of you found this channel. I just click one at random. I don't, because the music's all pretty much the same, very similar. So I just randomly click on a video, and the video that pops up is it's got the beautiful music, and it's got a little hummingbird. A hummingbird sitting on a branch staring out at me through the screen. And I remember I was thinking, as I was picking up the laptop, I was thinking, that's crazy. God didn't appear to me to say I'm in all things through a hummingbird. But when I picked up the laptop and randomly hit a playlist, there was a hummingbird staring at me through the screen. It's a real video. Thought, man, there's something to this. So I went in the house and I was talking to my wife about it again. I said, I think the message is I am in all things. The trees, the birds, the hummingbirds, the little birds, the big birds. And not that this is, I thought that I came up here after I ran this morning. I ran 5 miles after that, and then came up here, and there's a big bird. God is in this bird. And so, but then Dearly says, yeah, but people suck. And I was like, well, you're right. Not all of them, and not even most of them, but there's enough of them out there that suck to where you commonly hear people say that people suck. And I was just getting ready to go running, and we live on an old country road. It's not wide enough. It's not a 2-lane. I don't know how our side mirror doesn't hit the side mirror of the car coming out the other way when we come across other cars. As a runner, it can be difficult because a lot of times, okay, most people, when they see me running or anybody else running on the road, they're very courteous. They move over. There's 2 women out here that live past me that don't. And I know they both watch my videos, and I think that's might be why they do it. I'm not going to say who they are, but I just really get the feeling sometimes they're trying to kill me. I swear. So anyway, I'm thinking, I'm always looking out for these women, and I know where they live. And if I run past their house, I always feel this sense of relief after I pass their house. Unless if their car's gone, because then I know I got to worry about it maybe coming back. Well, it's crazy. I have seriously, and I might go talk to a law enforcement officer about the way these women drive and ask them if they could just please contact them. And seriously, that's how bad it is. I'm afraid they're going to kill my wife if she's out there on a bike or something. But there are times you can't get off the berm. There's nowhere to go. So I go out to do my running 5 miles. Soon as I start running out in front of my house, here comes a car up the road. And this is one of those places where there's no berm. It's like a 3 feet deep ditch. I thought, yeah, here we go. People suck. So, because this car wasn't getting over. So I looked behind me and I saw, well, that she wasn't getting over. And it wasn't one of these 2 women. It was another woman. Because there was another car coming the other direction. I'm like, oh, she can't. I'm like, I'm going to have to stop and try to figure out where to go. So I came to a complete stop. And when I stopped, I realized that the car that was coming towards me had stopped. And so I looked back, and the other car had stopped as well. And I was like, that's never happened. That's never happened. So I start running again, and I wave at the woman that stopped. I said, thank you. And she smiles and waves. And then the other lady comes by, and she's looking out her window, smiling and waving as she goes by. And I'm like, hey, thanks. I mean, when people do that, and when I see them noticeably getting out of my way, I go, like, Donata! I say thank you through the windshield because I do appreciate it, And I thought, wow. God is in all things, even those 2 drivers coming together. I don't care what their religious beliefs are or spiritual beliefs. I'm spiritual, as you can tell, but I'm not religious. I put it to you this way. I heard somebody else say this, and I like it. God came to earth and gave mankind spirituality. The devil came to earth after him and said, here, let's organize all this and we'll call it religion. Just for what it's worth, my opinion doesn't have to be yours. Tell me I have a big nose, if you want. Because then I'll pray for you, brah. To the God of your choosing. And then never mind. So I was running down the road, a little further down. And it happened again. And it happened in front of the hay collector's house. Remember the guy ran off the crayon? I was almost to his house, and I was like, wow, should I go, make nice with this guy? And of course the answer is no. Okay, that's how spiritual I was feeling. And plus I just blown through 1.5 miles at like 6.5 minute mile pace. I was really trucking this morning. Said no, because God did also give me free will, in my view. And part of that free will is making choices. And I'm not going to make the choice to reopen a door to a toxic person, because that's all we're going to get out of that. I've been around the block enough to know that. I wish that guy no ill will. I wish only good things to happen for him, because I don't have hatred in my heart for anybody, even people who have been a-holes to me. I just also wish they'd leave me the hell alone forevermore. And so I wasn't going to, and then I thought to myself, is this the right decision to make? Guess what? Here comes a car, and I'm like, oh, great, because that's one of the places you can't get over. That car stops, comes to a complete stop in the road. And I thought, I bet you there's a car coming the other way. I looked back, there was, and it had stopped also. These were two men. One was in a work truck, doesn't even live out here, just coming through doing some kind of work. That's never happened. I've never had 4 different drivers come to a complete stop. I've lived out here for 6 years. I have been running out here for 6 years. I haven't had 4 people total ever come to a stop in 6 years, but I had 4 people do it today. My God, that was a hummingbird. If you go to a book for the word, if you go to prayer, if you go to church, if you go to the mosque, if you go to the tabernacle, if you go out into nature, however it is, you commune. Do it your way. I'm just telling you, I really believe I had an experience this morning in which God said, I am in all things. See you next time for more.